But with yours TV and yours, we've started using Facebook a lot, and I've noticed the power of Facebook in terms of video way more than anything else. Twitter I just sort of use for little rants and to get pissed off at people and stuff.
Well, I use Facebook, obviously. That's where my main audience is. But where I'm really sort of connected with my followers is probably on Twitter. Is where I'm mostly on. Like, I don't really use Facebook to stay connected with my friends. I use Snapchat to connect with my friends. Yeah.
And now for something entirely different. Julie asked me to come along here. She asked me for my Twitter handle. I said I don't do social media. And it's not because I'm a digital dinosaur, it's because I made a conscious choice. Because of my life, my work, I have made a choice that I just didn't want to go there and become an employment agency for 10,000 students.
My main social media outlet is Instagram. I do have a Facebook, but yeah, it's quite puny. So yeah, Instagram I find is good for sharing my images of food. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Jamie, you had a book launched yesterday. That sounds pretty amazing. Tell us what made you decide to write a book and what's next for you on the book.
Basically, I just kind of felt that a book was kind of, I don't know, I was talking about this, I was on Paul Henry this morning, and he said the same thing, but he said it maybe a little bit ruder, like, why are you doing this now? You're on social media. And basically I said that I think like traditional mediums like books and things are taken more seriously in like people that don't really get the internet. So I was like, maybe people will take me more seriously. I don't know. And also I really wanted my like followers to have something like they could physically have, but not just like something on a screen. Yeah, and what was the second part of that question?
Oh, that's good. And Ashlee, how did you go about starting your business and your dreams on Instagram? That video that was played, they talked about how Gen Z quite like to make a living out of their hobbies. I mean, wouldn't we all? But it seems to be you're able to do just that.
Yeah, well, you're right. It started out as a hobby. It started when I first became vegan, which is a very niche diet thing that I found. Didn't really know anyone else like that, so I started using Instagram as a social media to meet people and share what I was doing. And yeah, it just evolved into, I wouldn't say a business, but yeah, something that I can profit off, thankfully. But yeah, free food. It's always good, yeah.
And Damian, how did you come about yours TV? I mean, given your background, you started this website and then the television program. I mean, why? Why yours?
I really got started in media not through sort of going to journalism school or anything useful like that. I got started through BFM and Radioactive and Salient magazine, which is the student magazine of Victoria, Georgia FM, all these sort of student venues, and I just felt that I don't think any of those mediums had embraced video in the way that they should have, and people were out there doing stuff on YouTube, but there was no sort of great sort of curation thing going, here is some really cool stuff by New Zealand students. So I thought it would be an opportunity to sort of give back and find young people and help them do what they do, and get the word out there and use some of my amazing skills that I picked up in 15 years of journalism to help them with it.
And the people that are on your show, they're all young people.
Yeah. We've got a cut-off limit. What normally happens is that students are often these days, I know, it's too busy, or they think they're too busy when they're actually at university or school, and then they get out the other end and they realise there are no jobs out there for these communications degrees that they're doing. True. And then they come to me and they say, hey, can I still do that thing for yours? And I'm like, it's only for students, sorry. So then they go back and do their honours and masters, because that's what kids do when they don't get jobs these days, and come to me and start doing work. So yeah, I've got a lot of masters and honours students these days.
Now, Roger, you told me when I was asking to come along that one of your students was doing their doctoral thesis on Facebook and brand affiliations and how that impacts 11 to 13-year-olds. I mean, these are our future consumers. I mean, I think in the States they said the disposable income was $17 a week. I mean, that's what I give my kids combined, but I don't know. Anyway.
Well, perhaps I can preface that a little bit. I did a degree in cognitive psychology a long time ago, and that's about how people use information. Process information. Since I did that, I've been a marketing professor and consultant. I was interested in how people use information to build brands, okay, or to buy. I'm interested in persuasion. That's what I do. And recently there have been some really quite incredible changes, of course, in the digital technology changes. And that has had an impact on how people think. I'm very comfortable. Don't feel inferior whatsoever. And so I'm interested in how people's brains are actually changing. So I had a PhD student, as I said, who had a background also in science. She was interested in kids. We were looking at 13-year-old kids who shouldn't have been on Facebook at the time anyway, but were. And what we were staggered by was the sophistication with which they actually interact with the brands online at that age. It was quite a shock to us in many ways. These are not passive recipients of messages. They're actually relating to the brands online and forming brand attitudes at 12 and 13 years of age. It was quite a surprise, really. Quite interesting.
I guess it's a good segue into a question for Jamie, which a lot of people here, like the questions, which ones are most popular, here to learn about is brands approaching you. Must be, increasing number doing that, and how you decide which brands you want to work with, and what to charge them, or does your agent do that for you?
Well, my agent sort of does the technical business side, otherwise I would.
She's here tonight, she wasn't away. She was on a panel actually a few months ago.
Yeah, and hello. And then also, like, you can take the mic if you want now. Normally it's, like if I don't like the brand, obviously I'll be like, no. Also it depends if like the brand lines with my audience. Like, I wouldn't be like, vodka, because like most of my audience can't drink, so like it wouldn't make sense for me to work with them. Yeah, and if they're like dickheads, I don't want to work with them if they're mean, so like be nice if you want to work with me, otherwise bye.
And so, if a brand wants to work with you, they go to your agent, and then you guys figure it all.
Yeah, basically, but like if I'm like at the end of the day, if I'm like, no, I don't want to, then I don't get the final say, but like they give me the smart way I should do.
All right, and how do you, Damian, as a producer, as a more mature producer of a show that's focused on young people, how do you figure out ideas that resonate with young people, or find talent?
I mean, I sort of remember ripped jeans the first time around, and so I just sort of look at my wardrobe and look at the stuff that I used to wear and figure that it must be like, must be coming ready. No, what I do, I've realised really early on that I don't have a clue what young people are all about. I try, and after for a while, you think that you're kind of still listening to student radio and you're still with the right bands, and then you realise you've got no idea who all these people are. So I basically said straight away, the ideas come from the students. I mean, otherwise I'd be sending kids out there going, do a story about texting, it's pretty big, and you've got your snake on your phone, and you have a go with that. So the kids come to me and they go, I want to do a story about, about X, and I go, I've never heard of it, great, go and do it. So that's the only way you can do it, I think, is listen to the audience.
Very, very good point there. Ashlee, what brands could you do? Because you told me you're working more with brands and you get the free food, but what's the best way, what kind of brands are coming to you, and what's the best way? I mean, you're very niche, so that must be quite unique experience.
Yeah, the most important thing for me, I think, when I'm working with brands and things, is that our ethos are like aligned. Like, it's important they have an ethical stance or something. They're not just trying to get me to sell their product or advertise it and just for money. Like, it's important to have some kind of relationship with the people that you're working with, especially as a younger person. I feel sometimes, these relationships are a bit overlooked and just want to get to the followers, but yeah.
If the man butcher started doing vegetarian sausages, would you be interested? Or would that like
vegan sausages.
Vegan sausages.
I'm just going to say a lot of my audience is international, so no.
I read, tell me about Facebook, because, there's, 2 years ago it was all, Facebook's going passe, it's all Twitter now, and there's this one article from a teenager that posted saying, well, it's kind of uncool to post on Facebook, but I use it as a way to get to Messenger and see, photos and that kind of thing, but they're not really using it so much to post, hey, I'm here, or whatever. So because you are biggest on Facebook, what are your views on where it's going? Are people moving elsewhere to these secret apps like Whisper and Big Jack and all that? Carry on.
I don't know, I think kind of the people under the age of like 60, I've noticed, is still on Facebook. like
Under, did you say?
yeah, like under. It's still like Facebook is still new. It's cool. My sister's 17. She doesn't really use it, but she goes on it, and we just like look at videos on there. Like that's kind of the only thing that we go on Facebook for.
That's exactly what the research said. Just watch videos.
Yeah, and that's kind of it. So luckily, I'm still surviving in there with my bits, but I don't know. I think Snapchat's probably the new kind of thing because you post a story and your friends can see what you're doing, where you're at, and it's just like very visual. Nothing's really written.
How do you find Snapchat? Like I tried to figure it out. My friend Wendy, who's here somewhere, hopefully tried to teach me how to use it.
It's in the App Store.
Yeah. I sent a Snapchat, but I just found the user interface. Like I'm just like, what am I doing now? Because I don't know, it's not intuitive, but maybe it wasn't built for me. But yeah, like I saw you playing around on a video with filters and things. Those new that video you did on.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Snapchat is getting like creative as well. So that's cool.
So what about you, Ash? Did you use Snapchat?
Yes. Yeah, not really for businessy stuff.
So is that where mainly people are with their friends versus?
Yeah, I'd say there's like a few, because you can't really find people's Snapchat by browsing through something on the app or anything. You have to know their Snapchat name before you, if that makes sense. Like you have to find the name from somewhere else. So yeah, it's a bit hard to get the word out there. So you have to advertise your Snapchat through other social media outlets.
Now, what about brands on Snapchat? Now, there's an increasing number of brands going on Snapchat, everything from bank to, I see One News has one, to Spark is big in that, Vodafone, obviously. So, how do you reckon brands are using Snapchat? Are they still something about, or like do you watch their stuff?
Not really, unless it's, I think the Snapchat ones that are sponsored by like the massive brands, like I think BuzzFeed and Mashable and stuff, like it's there for you to click on and things, but yeah, I probably wouldn't actively seek out a brand's Snapchat.
What about a media outlet?
Like Instagram or something?
Like, sorry?
Like Instagram or Facebook?
No, like how do you guys consume your news? How do young people consume like the news of the day?
I don't actually know what's going on in the world right now. So no, on Snapchat it has like a Daily Mail thing. It has like all the news sites on Snapchat, like at the top. If some people know what I'm talking about. That's how I kind of found out. I found out that Lamar Odom woke up, so that was really good. I found that out on Snapchat, which was really great. But that's how I found out on Snapchat.
And do you Snapchat, do you?
I think we all remember where we were that time that Lamar woke up. I've got Snapchat, and I sort of, I got onto it quite early on, and never really, in that early stage where people were mostly using it to send. I didn't do this, but it was mostly sort of dick pics and stuff, or taking normal pictures and drawing dicks on them and sending them to people. But I know that young people use it. A lot of my students use it. Every now and then I'll log into Snapchat, and then there'll be like this backlog of urgent things that students have sent me, thinking that's a good way of contacting me. It's really not. So I don't. Yeah, I've got it.
And Roger, because you're not on social media, I mean, how do your students they talk to you?
I use email, of course, and phone and whatever have you. I'm an old guy. The thing is, I have nearly 1,000 students a year, and many of them want to keep in touch with me. They all want to friend me because they all want a job.
What about LinkedIn? Do they link?
Second?
What about LinkedIn?
No, I don't do that either. I mean, I'm actually an academic. I like to concentrate for long periods of time and think very deeply about narrow problems.
So, all right then. So, having said that, what do you reckon about people that are like on the wall's very busy? They're all very busy. We are all very busy in our phones, and so how's that going to affect our,
It affects us enormously. I mean, what's happening is that we are multitasking, of course, and we know very well that when people multitask, they don't do any of the jobs really well. The more jobs you do, the poorer you do. It's common sense, right? And the fact is that, our brains, I think the thing we found out in psychology, more important than anything else, in fact, is how plastic the brain is. We used to think that changes took place over a long, long period of time. It just isn't so. It's very, very quick. The brain is extremely efficient. So if you start multitasking, what's going to happen is that your brain is going to adjust to that multitasking and you'll lose the ability to concentrate, which is what's happening. You had up here this, you put 8 seconds, it's about 8.5 seconds is the concentration span. In year 2000 it was 12.5 seconds. I mean, it's getting quicker. And because kids have 7 screens on the thing.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's affecting our brain structure and how we actually approach media and how advertisers have to approach media. You know, you've got a real problem of engagement that we never used to have. So it's, I think it's an interesting question, really. But I mean, my choice was not to use social media because I wanted to have space to think. And the social media was a distraction.
All right, well, that's probably enough questions from me because you guys probably have heaps of questions, and Jamie has to go soon. So we'll put it to, who's my helper with the mic? We'll put it to you guys. You over there. Huh? Oh, sorry, I thought that was the baseball hat.
Hi there. You seem to very specifically compartmentalise the kind of corporate social media from your kind of personal social media. This kind of image of it being something you do and then you sort of a hobby that grows into a business doesn't kind of sort of marry well with that. Is that, I mean, or have you sort of, how consciously have you got into it? This is my corporate, this is my personal, I'm very separate.
Me? Sorry. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the two young ones.
Yeah. My one started off independently of my personal social media, so I made my Instagram purely for food. So, yeah, it was separate from the beginning.
I don't know, I guess my personal life, my personality is my brand. So they're kind of the same thing, I guess. Everything I stand for and represent is me when I do that for a brand. I don't really know how to answer that in like a technical way, but I don't. Yes, cool.
But be like kind of saying, well, I chat to my friends on Snapchat, and I kind of, all my followers, my kind of money comes through Facebook. It is very sort of separate by that. Yeah.
Oh, well, I have a Snapchat that's public as well. Well, I have like a private Facebook and a public Facebook. I just have 2 different things, like personal things and then brand money stuff.
That's just true of all media, though. Is you know, journalists have their professional pages and their their business pages as well as their personal pages. You know.
Any other questions? Sure.
I agree. It's the idea of the hobby that grows, kind of just like your personal thing that becomes more.
There's a question here from Rick.
Interested in how, I won't say the younger people, but people who are not old, deal with trolling.
When they're mean? Oh. People are so mean. I mean, when I first started, I was like really sad. I was like, this person doesn't like me. But then I would see some of them in the street, like you remember them, like you remember the people that was like, you suck, like kill yourself, blah 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 blah, and you remember them and you see them, and they literally like don't make eye contact with you. They're like scared of you, and you're like, oh, okay, so they're literally just typing out words that I don't know, and they also don't see you as a person. There was this guy that made a page and was like fully just attacking me, and now he's one of my best friends because we met in real life. And we actually got along really well. He was like, oh, you're actually not a weirdo. And it was cool. So, I don't know, I just kind of brush off and kind of focus on the people that do like me. Yeah.
Because, mine's not really about myself, so I don't get that many haters, or like any, to be honest. I don't think there's a certain extent you can hate on food. People do. People do comment and say like, oh, like where's your protein coming from? Like, all the typical stuff like that. And yeah, it's just education. Try and help them out, I don't know.
More questions? Do we have more diverse gender questions?
Yes, go. Not too many men in a row. Well, please stand up.
Sorry. Hi, girls. Quick question for both of you. Do either of you have mentors that you work with to help you actually build your brands?
I think my agents are probably my number one mentors.
Thank you.
How long have you had an agent for?
Like 2 years? Is our anniversary coming up soon?
You just turned 19, right? Is that right? So you
Yes.
started when you were 16.
Yeah, like a year and a half? 18 months. 18 months. Yeah. So they're probably my mentors, like, in terms of like turning myself into a brand and things like that, because obviously I don't really know anything about that.
And what about your videos on YouTube? I mean, you used to post quite often, and
Yes.
now not so much. Is that because you're busy writing books or touring around?
Yeah, well, because when I was first making the videos, I was like always in situations that gave me those ideas, and I was just solely focused on videos, and I'm focusing on books and touring and things like that. So my brain is kind of hit a wall, but I'm going to be doing some writing with some other creators, and so getting my feet back in that space to get my channel back up again and my content back to where it was before.
And what about you, Ashlee? Do you see yourself producing video, or do you produce video? Wait, you produced a travel video. I know that.
Yes, I did one. I really love travel. I'm trying to like edge that in on my followers and all the brands like, hey, send me somewhere cool. But yeah, I like being creative in multiple ways, and I feel like I've got to the point where food's a bit limiting now, and I'm trying to branch out and do like videos and photos, and yeah.
We have a question here as well. Do you have one? No? Cool. We have one over here. Like that.
And there's one up here after you.
Cool, thank you. Doing this and sound test and not filming, so.
Just for everyone, if you don't see yourself doing what you do now, what would you be doing instead of what you're already doing now?
I'd probably be at uni. Getting an education.
Hey, one question just came in.
I'd probably be at uni as well.
If you are happy to say name brands, but some of your brands that you think are doing really well on social, that are doing an awesome job. And Roger, you have to answer.
I think Coca-Cola are doing really, really well with working with social media.
Okay, brands that you don't work with right now.
Well, even not with me. MTV, is that a brand? It's kind of a brand. MTV are doing really, really well, I think, with because they're like originally like a TV thing, and now they're on like Snapchat, all their platforms, and they're like really active on Twitter as well. I think MTV is really, really good.
That's really interesting because they are like, kind of media outlet that, doing it on Snapchat. All right, and you, Damian? Are doing it really well on social.
I'm sure there are some. I tend to get really irked, particularly on Twitter, with promoted tweets and things like that. So I need to block and dismiss a lot of stuff really quickly.
Really?
Yeah, which I know is kind of counterproductive. Someone who's also trying to make a life and a business in that sphere. I still kind of think this is, these are my spaces. Get out of my spaces. So it's hard for me to say here's something that I really like.
And Roger, even if you don't know any from watching the TV.
I mean, companies like Air New Zealand use YouTube very successfully. They're viral marketing, that sort of stuff. They've done really well on that.
Can I actually, I will say that there's some of the companies like ASB, probably because they're my bank, but also in New Zealand, things like that on Twitter where they're really responsive to angry tweets where you go, screw you ASB for charging me that fee and blah blah, and someone comes back straight away and says, oh, sorry to hear about that, DM us your details, blah blah blah, we'll be in touch. And you suddenly straight away go, oh, that's better, okay, cool, you're alright, you guys. That it doesn't have to be amazing marketing, just responsiveness and the sense that there is someone, like Jamie was saying about internet trolls, that there's actually someone out there, a person. ASB is actually a person, or a robot, but a person who is responding to your tweets. So when you at them in Twitter, someone out there in a call centre just cries a little bit. Yeah.
Hi, I had a question for Roger. You were saying about attention spans shrinking, but capacity to multitask being enhanced. I'm not sure if you saw this as a bad thing, but do you think that it's beholden upon brands or people who are putting money into social media to attempt to reverse that trend, or should they be embracing it and leveraging it?
It's just changing, that's all. It's just happening, this is how it is. And it means that for all of us who are interested in persuading people or communicating with people, we've got an engagement problem. You've actually got to keep them engaged constantly. So in the old days, when I was a student, we would sit for an hour, a couple of hours, listening to a lecture and concentrate, take notes, whatever. These days you can't. Every few minutes you've got to have a commercial break, tell a joke, show a picture, do something, get them up and get them moving, and actually you've got to keep re-engaging. It's the same thing with mobile advertising and all the rest of it. You've just got to capture their attention and hold it. You've got to renew that message if necessary, repeatedly, all the time. It's not instinctively.
Every 8 seconds. Something new every 8 seconds.
As you were saying, Damian, about hiding promoted posts and that kind of thing, and maybe for Jamie and Ashlee, a question for you guys. What's the best way for brands to actually get through to you? Is it sponsors, or partnerships with other social influencers, or what works for you guys?
I can tell you what I've done from yours TV point of view to get great responses from certain posts, because we put out a post normally and we've got a limited number of likes on our page. Using Facebook advertising, when you know how that works and the actual power that's there, so that you can target people who are actually interested in something. So we did an interview with a band, and I spent about $200 promoting it to only people that had talked about that band, and got 200,000 views on that video. Man, our average views might be 1,000 or something like that. So I really like that. Talking to people that want to hear your message is a really good start, and I think just broadcasting, hey, there's a sale on Sony gear or whatever, to everyone doesn't work, but just, so I'd say the same thing. If I'm getting stuff that's targeted to me, that is something I'm interested in, I'm going to keep doing it.
Another one for Dr. Marshall, I think, a bit of a follow-on from what was said here, but has there been much thought or discourse in the academic world of what culture or what everything might look like with all this lack of attention, for example, in terms of employment or even studies and things like this? Or even your opinion on what it might look like?
Yeah, of course, it's a much bigger issue than that, because all sorts of things are happening to the way we react to information. It's not just that. We're sort of outsourcing a lot of our mental capacity these days. I mean, there's the Google effect, you've heard of that. I mean, people are no longer able to remember telephone numbers so easily as they could, because the brain works out that very quickly you can find a number on your mobile, so you don't need it. So the brain will shut down that bit of your brain and utilize that capacity for doing something else. So we know that concentration is spent. Okay, we know there's a lot of switching, and it's not just because of the switching of technology bringing out new products. That's part of it, but it's also because people are switching more and more and more. I heard a thing on radio the other day, so it must be true, right? And this was saying that actually even electricity supply, people are switching something like 30%, 35%, gas supplies about 20%, and prepaid for your mobile is over 50%. And people are just switching more frequently, and life cycles are getting shorter and shorter. It's part of this because of the way our brains are seeking to switch in that way. So it's a learning curve. So it's a much bigger question than just one aspect of the brain. It's constantly changing. We have to constantly think about it.
I have a question. Who is this person? Are they? Did they want to explain that one, or are they on the live feed? Maybe. Is it you? Oh, are you 21?
I just want to say thanks, Johnson and Lead, for finally realising that you're not just Jamie's agency mind too, so that was nice to have the yay. Thanks for that. Good agent, quite a big deal.
This is a question.
We'll just get, yeah, if you want to, do you want to expand on that? I'd be keen.
Yeah, I think like just with the younger generation and things like that is everything's focused on corporate and capitalism and statistics and numbers and how you can replicate things and how you can do things like that. Whereas young people, like we've been brought up like to believe, not to believe things ourselves, like to look for the evidence ourselves and that kind of thing. So like stories in the media, why are they there? Why are they published there? Like thinking behind the reason of everything. And so we've kind of become distrusting of everything, and brands trying to, I don't know, replicate success or become viral or something like that. Like there isn't really a formula to becoming viral or successful on social media. And it's, you can't really break it down or give bullet points as the facts of how you do this and how you do that. It's kind of like everyone's kind of figuring out how they go, and you kind of just got to be authentic. You can't be fake. Like your audience will see straight away, right through that, if you're fake or you're trying to put something on or you're trying to pretend to be someone who
That's
you're not.
exactly what all those statistics were saying, that young people associate less with celebrities and more with their peers through YouTube or their channels. I mean, that's just, yeah, word of mouth marketing's been around for yonks, but I guess it's just easier with social and, growing up a little bit more cynical. I mean, my kids are always like, oh, don't put that on Facebook. Like, these kids are growing up with their parents documenting every single step on the interwebs. So, yeah, thank you for that. That's very interesting. We have one more question, and then someone has one more burning. Okay. Oh, okay. All right, Nona.
Hi, Nona. I was listening to what you all were saying, and it strikes me that maybe you're already sort of becoming disinterested with your own success, so you have to reinvent yourself yet again. So, what is the expectations that you have that you're going to be doing the same thing in, say, even 2 years?
Well, with me, I'm really trying to get into acting, so we're using my social media platforms and my status online to get into acting, because a lot of directors and producers are looking at people like me who can. Maybe I'm not the best actor that will be in the film, but I can also advertise their film as well as act in it, so I'm kind of a package.
I can't remember when 2 months ago we had Jamie's agent on here, and she was, we were showing that the top 10 YouTube stars in New Zealand alone have something like 10 million or 7 million views per week. Like, these are numbers that the television networks, they don't exist. I mean, it was rule over. So obviously, people chasing. Jamie comes along with an audience of 10 million. I mean, she has her own, content network.
So like hopefully in 2 years I'll be acting. That will be my prime kind of thing.
For me, I'm kind of hoping to branch out, because the main reason why I started my food thing was to show people that you can have everything you like all the junk food and stuff, but you can have it in a way that's ethical and conscious of the environment. That's just me. Yeah, I'm real into that stuff. So I'd like to branch out and explore these facets and other things like traveling, because especially for young people, I find there's not that much travel information, and especially for people like me who have restricted diets or conscious of other things. Yeah, so I don't know. It's mainly my niche thing. So expanding my niche.
We had 2 more.
Just speak out. Just yell.
Yeah, just yell.
You do have a recording tonight.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot we're on the live stream. Hello, everyone at home.
And this is probably a question for Damian and Jamie. I'm just wondering, with the rise in live video, like we've got Periscope and YouTube's doing live streaming, and Snapchat's all about recent and updated video. Do you think this is something that brands need to get on? And do you think that this is going to keep increasing and keep increasing in popularity?
I think if the event's big enough, I think, sure. I just recently advised, someone came to me and they had a brand new thing they were thinking about doing with quite a limited audience, and they were talking about live streaming, and I just said, don't. Because you'll go through all that technological effort and you're probably going to get 20 people tuning in. why not just package it up, edit it nicely, and put it online? I'm a big fan of cutting stuff down to the time that it should be, putting some pretty pictures over the top of it, making it look really good, and then putting it online for everyone rather than a live streamed event. This is being live streamed though, right? I mean, there's a time and a place, Take courage.
Quite a lot of people watching it, huh? According to the Twitter feed.
10 million, I hope. Well, Jamie's not doing a job.
Live streaming, for me, I haven't really looked into the live streaming, but the Snapchat, that's kind of like similar to live streaming. Like a lot of like events will have a separate thing on Snapchat that you can look at, or they'll get people like me, because I have like sort of 70,000 on my Snapchat, but my friends over in the US have like 200,000. Sometimes they get paid to go to these events and just live Snapchat their time at the event. So that's how some of the brands and kind of events are using us.
Are you on Periscope?
I don't know what that is. I'm really kind of bad with technology.
Right.
Hi. Yeah. Hey. Just kind of, moving on from brands. This is open to all of you, by the way. I'm a youth worker and I work with a lot of young people. The big thing that I focus on is engaging with young people online. And like a big thing is like a lot of young people are like disclosing their struggles online. Like if you go on Instagram and you search up the hashtag depression or recovery, there's constantly things going through that feed. Like what do you guys think are some ideas that we can engage and support our young people online?
Wow, that's a really good question, because I have been wondering that too, because I get like messages of people that are like, hey, like, can you help me? I'm like depressed or whatever. And I wonder how we could do that. There could be like, I don't know, Twitter pages that literally tweet advice to some people. You can tweet them with a hashtag and you can give them advice back. I don't know, it's a really difficult one because it's hard to tell over the internet if someone's A, serious, and two, like how bad it actually is and things like that. So I don't know, but we should really look into that.
We could start by creating more positive online communities. One of the reasons that when yours started up, we didn't allow comments, we still don't allow comments, is because I knew that if we were having people put their creative works up there, as Jamie has found out time and time again, you just get a whole lot of people jumping on there going, you suck. And the last thing I wanted was for people to have spent months working on a short film, 16, 17-year-olds, to just get this barrage of hate. I think so, but I think if you keep making the right noises and being positive in a space for long enough, then eventually you open the door to comments slowly. Those comments will be positive because of the vibe that you put out there. So yeah, I think so. That's sort of not quite so much answering the question, but saying we might not have so many problems if there were some really great positive spaces people could go to in the first place.
I find on Instagram there's a lot of communities like that, and they usually, like in mine, it's like the health and fitness community. There's a lot of people who have had eating disorders in the past and things, or having like quarter-life crises, and there's a couple big names that make, say, YouTube videos and things, and they talk about just what they're feeling, like everyday life, and people feel like they can relate, and then that sparks discussion within the community, and yeah, it's like they feel like they're a part of something. I suppose doesn't answer your question either, but.
What about causes too? Because you guys have massive audiences, and people must be coming to you with causes. Can you support this and that and the other thing? And so, Jimmy, where do you play a role in that, or not do causes?
I have done some causes. I did some things with the NZ Police Force about kids drinking, like teenagers drinking and driving over the summer, and it was like about staying safe over the summer. I think it was, I had like a quote and it was like, I'd rather be cool than uncool. It was something. We came up with a slogan that I can't remember, which is so bad. That was really cool, and I did some things around like bullying and just like, I don't know, my key message on Twitter, I'm always like, be kind, be kind, be kind. Like, don't be a dickhead. Like, you don't need to be rude. Like, just be nice. And so I really try to just, for me, I can only do so much until like people are like, okay, I don't want to see any more of it because I've got to keep up my content. But as well as, giving back to the people that have got me here, and also I'm in a position that younger people look up to. So yeah, I just kind of keep it like a be kind is rambled on a bit there, sorry, but be kind.
That's awesome. Well, I think that's a good place to end it.
I've been doing a lot of work with
Range Rover.
It's just a really easy question.
Range Rover. It's a charity.
Oh, sorry. Open to the panel. How do I go about becoming an internet sensation? Just an easy question.
You gotta have a face like this, and then.
I mean, come on. Hello.
Okay, good start. He's got a good start, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually, she's quite right. We've just done a bit of work where we've been analysing the half a dozen major vloggers, video bloggers, and looking at their characteristics to see if they vary very much. And actually, you're spot on. I'm afraid you're too old.
Yeah, how old is too old?
How old is too old, Roger?
How old is?
How old is too old?
Well, all of these, the top half a dozen most successful ones were in the early 20s, or under, about 20.
But as our younger generational man over here sort of pointed out, it's not about, statistics and numbers. You just got to kind of feel it and, and do what it's doing.
It's interesting because, traditionally we've always been interested in these people called opinion leaders, and we thought it'd be totally different online. It's not. It's totally the same. It's about relating with them, identifying with them. It's about their perceived expertise. It's about their unpleasantness and so forth. There's a number of criteria. Basically things don't change just as the vehicles do.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. So, help yourself to a drink. Give a hand for our panel, please, everyone. And Jamie, how do we get a hold of your book? If anyone wants your books that came out yesterday?
And Paper Plus, I think.
Social media, that sounds like the right plan. All right, okay. You guys can sit or not or go. Normally we do our shiny new thing first, but please all don't leave because we've got some special guests here. I've got two 13-year-olds, girl Nika and boy Elliot. One's in year 9 and one's in year 8. And I thought I'd get them up here. Come on up, guys. Give them a mic and just to tell us sort of what social media they think is cool, that resonates with them, and any brand experiences that they thought were cool or not. So come on up. Hey, oh, right. Oh, sorry, tell us just for a photo. I was wondering why they're attacking. We just. We have Nika here and Ellie. Turn around. I see you. Thank you, guys. All right, so. Nika told me when over email. Do you guys use email? Quick. This is Nika here, and this is Elliot. And Nika told me over email that her favorite channels were Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and Netflix. Do you watch TV? You do watch TV. Can you speak in that?
On my laptop.
Do you watch TV?
Yeah. I use like Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that.
And what are your favorite channels?
I don't watch regular TV, I guess you'd call it, using streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, or just sites online that stream TV.
Games.
Yeah.
For social purposes.
Well, with the introduction of a site called Steam, which, not a site, it's an application where you can use video games and also talk to people using chats and stuff like that.
Right.
Steam.
This is Steam up.
It's doubles kind of like a best of both worlds situation, being social media and a platform to play games on.
I thought you each should share an experience where you thought a brand was doing a good job that you guys. about see brands in social media? What do you think of that?
I personally don't follow any brands on like Instagram or anything, but there was one company that do like on Snapchat. They did a competition for like eating more fruits and stuff. It was just Cook and Z, and they did a competition on Snapchat. And you had to post a picture of your like a meal that you ate of fruit and vegetables, and you kind of had to form it into like a face or something, and you got like a prize from Prezi to shop somewhere.
Did you enter?
No.
With brands being apparent in social media and things like that, I think a site called Reddit that a lot of people use is you make entire sub-communities for different brands, video games, whatever you kind of want, really anything you can do, which is a really good promotion for the brands, but also communities where people talk about all these different brands and have discussions about them, I suppose.
And what about, you've seen any examples of brands doing it wrong, of course, right? do you just push them aside, or?
I'm going to go ahead and diss Spark at a Vodafone. I think Telecom changing their name to Spark.
That's really interesting because they're after you guys. I mean, everyone's after young people, right? So, what was it?
I feel like from a marketing point of view, it was a really dumb decision because it took like a lot of money, and it was a really well-known, name in households and in general, like, Telecom, everyone, it's a very well-known brand, and then we're changing their name to Spark at this really just randomly with no reason. It kind of just destroyed their reputation, I guess.
And do you guys read, you don't watch television, what about news? Where do you get your news about what's happening in the world?
I usually just get it from my mum or my dad, I'm going to be honest. But you can see, like, there's lots of posts and stuff about it that you'll see on sites like Tumblr or, Twitter, stuff like that. You can see lots of people talking about what's happening around in the world.
What about you?
Like Snapchat, I just find it on there, yeah. Like Jamie.
Jamie said, yeah, but break up, I might remember who it was. Alright, hey, thanks a lot. How about put your hands together for these great one more. You guys stand up. And hey, we've got one more quick speaker who's going to help us give away these double passes to the Vodafone Music Awards, which hopefully you guys are all hanging out for. So this guy I met on Twitter, as you do, just before a couple days ago actually. His name is Liam McEwen. I don't know if anyone, I've never heard of him, but maybe young people have. He's an award-winning television presenter, radio host, and social media personality who lives in Auckland, but does all of his work overseas. And he just came back from the MTV VMA, this Video Music Awards, where he spent time with celebs, which is totally the opposite of what we were saying. He's with Britney Spears, Miley Cyrus, and Sheeran. And one of his big gigs right now is making videos for global teen magazine J14. And you can see him in New Zealand on the 4:30 show. But he's been Gen Z for a long time, a veteran. He's been working since he was 13 on a radio station for free on the weekends to work up into his way where he is now 6 years later. So I thought he'd come on stage, tell his story, and briefly, and give away the tickets to the Music Awards. We thought to do that, well, he can explain that. Come on up, Liam. Liam McEwen, who's heard of Liam? He's got 200,000 followers on Twitter or something?
Hello. Oh, hi guys. Shame on you who left, eh? Like, seriously, I see some empty seats in my face. It's so sad. Anyway, hi, I'm Liam. So nice to meet you. Thank you for your lovely little introduction. So yeah, I'm 19 years old, and I'll tell you my story. So when I just turned 13 years old, and I was in Devonport, and I was walking through the ferry building, so my mum was getting a coffee with one of her mates, and I saw like this community radio station, and I was just like, this looks interesting. So I had a look in the window, and the boss came out and was like, do you want to give it a go? And I did, and then he said, hey, do you want a show on the radio every Sunday? And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. It was a small little community station, and I was doing that for about 3 years. And I was having like 5 listeners, and it wasn't really picking up. So then I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not good at this, maybe this isn't right for me. Like, what the heck am I doing with this? But then I started noticing on Twitter, I set up a Twitter account, and I started noticing people asking for some of the same artists over and over again, like the same celebrities. And I thought, this is interesting. What if I was to play the artists that these guys are asking for? I know it sounds really simple, but that worked. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, I had 50,000 listeners on the show just from tapping into different audience bases. And I think that was really important for me. And then from there, I got approached by iHeartRadio, which is here in the city. And then a year and a half after that, I realised that that isn't necessarily what I wanted to do. And it was very behind the scenes. I thought I wanted to be in front of the camera, I wanted to be behind the mic, whatever. And then as soon as I left there, I put out a tweet saying, I've left iHeartRadio, and literally that night, I got an email from a magazine in the US called J14, which I already knew of because it's like a fan magazine, like celebrity gossip and stuff. And then they all, oh, there it is. That's nice. And then they were like, hey, do you want a job? And I was like, that sounds awesome. So pretty much what they did is the original offer was to move to New York, but I have a really nice family and I didn't want to leave them just now. So every 2 months I go backwards and forwards to LA, New York, to host and present on the red carpet. So a few weeks ago I was at the VMAs, the MTV VMAs. Before then it was the Teen Choice, and before then it was the, what was it? The Billboard Awards. And then next month I'm going to the AMAs. So it's a lot of like moving around, which I'm really happy about, but it's all been through social media. And I think the biggest thing for me was to actually do what people wanted me to do. Like kind of become a puppet in a way for them, as well as like being yourself. And I've had the chance to talk to like some of these massive stars and say to them what actually works for you. Like these are the biggest social media names in the world, like what works on social media. And they were saying that like, be yourself, which is really cliche, but be yourself times 10. So like, if you're a shy person, be 10 times shyer online than you actually are. Because everyone's trying to be themselves online, but then when you take it the step further, it automatically becomes more interesting. So like, if you're a fan of something, like if you're a fan of One Direction, be the ultimate fan of One Direction online. And that kind of like gives people, it makes you look like you're the best of the best, if that makes sense. Am I making any sense? Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I do.
All right, can you give away the tickets now?
Oh, yes.
So, we actually don't have the tickets, but they do exist. So, I think they're ready Friday, Dylan?
Yeah, they're being printed at the moment, and they'll be ready on Thursday. So
we'll
grab details.
Double passes. So, everybody needs to tweet with the handle SMCAKL and VNZMA for the Buffalo New Zealand Music Award.
Thank you, Debbie TL1. You're so sweet. And Bonnie NZ. Oh, love you guys.
Anyway, so just tweet a quote, who you bring along to the Butterfly Music Awards, or you can pick whatever it is. You just have to have those 2 hashtags, and then he's going to turn around to the Twitter wall and pick 2 people.
Well, that sounds fun.
So, get out your devices and tweet away if you want to go. It's the 19th of November, and just speaking of which, well, I'll let you guys get time to get your tweets ready. This is the second last SMCAKL of the year. Normally we finish in November. Sometimes we start back up in February if we can be bothered, but sometimes it's March. And the last one is the 18th of November, and it's podcast day. So you can put that in your diaries. I'm not sure who's hosting. I actually never met the guy. But great panel. And now, we've got some tweets up there.
The Vodafone New Zealand Music Awards was the first Jamie McEwen. That is so funny. That is like, if Jamie and I got married, that would be her name. Jamie. Sorry, what was I saying?
We just need to pick, just go in a while.
The New Zealand Music Awards was the first red carpet they did. It's heaps of fun, so whoever goes will have the time of their life.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I've been before too. Awesome. Okay, so pick a tweet in there that has VNZMA behind you or on the wall, anyone, and they will win if they're here. If they're live streaming, I guess they should win as well because they're not ready till Friday. So we'll just collect your details and we can get them to you. All right, go, Liam.
Okay, I really like the selfie. Like, who's feeling the selfie? I kind of want to get into the selfie because that's like, that's
Do it.
Yeah, takes, exclamation.
Takes.
Take 5. Take 5, exclamation.
All right, excellent. So we'll get you over to yourself. Actually, we're like that. You don't have to come up. I'll just
Oh, you can
everybody.
yourself there. Oh, please.
Okay, we've got, just make sure that you give your details to Dylan. And then one more.
Do you want to pick this one?
No, you go.
Okay.
It's what you do for
I take my newly returned Oz. Oh, that's a good topical reference, the Shia LaBeouf. Go, Jesse. Let's give it to Jesse Knight. Just do it, mate. Give it to Jesse Knight.
Jesse, you here? Yep. Not here? All right. Okay.
Hey, what a lad, Jesse Knight.
All right, thanks, everyone. We're open. The bar should be open until about 8 o'clock, and then we need to leave. But thank you all for coming, and thank you, Vodafone, for the room. And don't forget our sponsors.
Nice to meet you guys. Thanks.